are these people?
So, speaking of offenses of the third degree, John Kiriakou here, who we've had on a few of our shows here at INN. Great guy, whistleblower, did some pretty important stuff. So he writes, a Victimizers Memorial, special consortium. Another war memorial is being planned for the National Mall in Washington. Another thing for you to go see, Collin. This one is for the 9/11 era, and it is being shared by none other than W. Yay, W. So, Washington, D.C. Will soon welcome another major memorial on the National Mall. This one will be adjacent to the Lincoln Memorial and the Vietnam War Memorial.
That would mean it would be pretty big.
Yeah,
it would have to be.
Yep.
It will have to. Oh God.
Yay! I love when Collins.
Realize that it will have to be. It has to be significant.
Yeah.
In order to be like right there.
Oh, Jesus, but wait, Christ. it's worse. If you thought that was bad, what is it? It's the Global War on Terror Memorial. Yeah, War on Terror. So this is despite a moratorium of new memorials on the National Mall. It's despite the fact.
Oh, but they're gonna push
that. It's despite the fact that the so-called. Well, we'll get to why that's not an issue. So-called global war on terror is still ongoing, and it's despite a federal law saying that 10 years must pass from the end of a conflict until the beginning of construction of a monument to it. So they're like, you got to end the conflict before you can like make a thing. So perhaps most importantly, the new memorial will offer literally nothing in memory of the hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of innocent people in Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Libya, Pakistan, Syria, the Sahel, and elsewhere who were killed by U.S. forces. Yay! Bombs and drones in that war on terror. So, which we're funding more of.
Right.
The Global War on Terror Memorial has not yet been designed. You can help design it, Care Bear. A help design history survey on its website invites members of the public to provide input through multiple choice questions. Okay, which people can play along in the chat. They can put their answers right there in the comments to this question.
As friend to the show, Kit says, let's have some democracy in the chat.
Democracy in the chat. So when someone stands before the General War on Terror Memorial, what do you hope they feel? The only possible responses. So this is the responses you may choose from, audience. Honor, healing, empowerment, unity, understanding, patriotism, and peace. That's so.
How about let's do ours.
Yeah.
You put if you stand before the W, that's what I'm going to call it, the W Memorial.
The W Memorial. Yes.
What do you want to feel?
Unity.
I would personally put capitalism or colonial
torture, war crimes. Like these are, I don't know, Abu Ghraib. Like that would be great. Like make like a little Christ Redeemer of the guy in the hood. I'm just saying there's some options. If you were to design a global war on terror memorial, what would you make it as? Let us know.
That put his on a tear. He's like Gitmo, cluster bombs.
Yeah.
Straw
man. A little wicker man up there would be great. Waterboarding. Yeah, we could put a waterboarding thing. It'd be great. A little Santorum kit right there for you. Kiriakou continues.
You know what? This is actually kind of fun. Like, once we clip this out, this will probably be clipped by next week.
Yeah.
In the comments, this clip, when we get there, write down in the comments what you would think of if this memorial ever becomes a thing.
Draw your design of the memorial. Send it to us at @GetIndieNews on Twitter with the hashtag Global War on Terror Memorial. Thank you. So we can do GWAT Memorial for short. But there's no option for anger over the deaths of innocent people. There's no option for fury over the creation of multiple torture programs. There's no opportunity to question the $6 trillion that the government spent on the war. I mean, you could just do that. Fucking like piles of money. Pallets of money.
You can cover everyone's student loan debt 3 times over.
More than that. Yeah, you could end world hunger for that kind of stuff for a good long time. So, for the estimated $2 trillion in estimated future expenses related to veteran health care. That's just the health care of our guys that we're spending, which none of the rest of us get it, which is partially why they don't want us to have health care, because it's the only incentive they give veterans in some cases. The website does say, however, that it hopes the memorial will convey a debt of gratitude for the sacrifice that GWAT service members made. They're service heroes.
We love our troops, folks.
Yes, we do. The memorial's leadership also is important. Understanding the direction that it's taking and ignoring the victims of the war on terror and in honoring the victimizers. The organization's chairman is none other than weapons of mass destruction, George W. The executive team and board of advisors includes an array of retired generals and colonels, including Colonel Sanders himself, hedge fund managers, oil executives, and 2 conflict windows. So, oil execs, hedge funds, okay, all your favorite people. Might as well throw lawyers in there and you got a fucking trifecta bullshit. That's a terrible walk into a bar joke, It promotes partnerships with a wide variety of veterans organizations, but there's no indication of its funding sources, okay? Other than some seed money. This is why it's already been seeded, right? So that the Trump administration enacted into law, okay? And a page on the website asking for $20, $50, or $100. Man, that's cheaper than a fucking Cornell fundraiser. All right? So, get out there.
You had to circle
fund your memorials. Fuck yeah, dude. I'll call back any day of the week. Just like House Democratic lawmaker floats George W. Bush for Speaker of the House. Democratic lawmaker floats George W.
I mean,
he went on Ellen. Yeah, it's fine. Cool. He does cool paintings now. He's an artist. He's just a struggling artist, Collin. So, yeah. So, there's no doubt, great band, by the way, of course, that by the end of the process, it will be fully funded, and I wouldn't be surprised Yes?
Go ahead, finish that paragraph.
See discreet thanks to the likes of Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, General Dynamics, and other weapons makers. I'm sure they'll have lovely plaques.
I'm sure, this Israel-Palestine issue will kind of help spur this on too. So I wouldn't be surprised if, although I wanted the marketing of that, I wouldn't be surprised if, they will use this conflict in the Middle East right now to kind of
spur this.
Yeah.
Like, remember 9/11, guys? Remember? Like, that's remember when we hated all the Muslims? Remember? That's pretty much what it is, So, but yeah, it's just fucking ugh. Like, when are we gonna learn, Collin? When will people learn?
Never. I mean, we have enough money to waste on.
Yeah. It's just fucking ugh. Like, I hate doing these stories sometimes. It's just like, historically we've dealt with this 1,000 times already, but people still need to be. It's like, do you not remember? I remember. This is not that long ago. So I'm not surprised that a war memorial is planned for the 9/11 era. It was inevitable.
I mean, there is one. What happened? That's the point. There is one. I thought the World Trade Center was this memorial, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that hasn't been mentioned in the article. There is one.
It was inevitable. These are monuments and memorials all over the National Mall, some of which are for conflicts that nobody even knows about anymore. I get it. And I get that each generation wants to commiserate a sugary sweet version of its military service. But why not be realistic here? Why not be honest about the war on terror? In many cases, it was a war of terror. Why not use the opportunity to educate the public and perhaps to work so that history doesn't repeat itself? So
we don't do that.
This is in Brazil. This is a monument to the victims of torture, by the way. Little nice bit of imagery there. So if I thought there were any remote chance that somebody at the Global War on Terror Memorial Foundation might listen to me, I would ask that the memorial commemorate the victims of the CIA and Pentagon torture programs at secret prisons around the world, at Guantanamo, and at Abu Ghraib. I would ask that they commemorate the innocent victims of the CIA rendition program, where people were kidnapped, snatched off the street or from their homes, and rendered to other countries to face torture. Many of those people were utterly innocent. Just asked Mayor Ahar or Khalid al-Masri, just asked the dozens, perhaps hundreds, of people who were taken to secret CIA prisons around the world. They were simply disappeared in the name of fighting terrorism. Some were never seen again. Just ask the families of Afghan or Iraqi victims of the U.S. invasions of their countries or the victims of U.S. drone attacks. Entire families were wiped out without so much as an apology. Where is their memorial? And also to the people that are still in black sites, like Julian Assange, people who got out of black sites, Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, like all of which repeated war crimes of this particular war on terror. As I said earlier, I'm a realist. There's going to be a memorial in the National Mall. I just hope it's not too late to ensure that the truth is told about the war on terror. Future generations have a right to know. Care Bear, you live in DC.
John, you are an optimist because there is no way that's going to happen. There's no way that on the National Mall is going to bring truth to people.
V.S. Adams in the chat. Wait, is this called a Victimizers Memorial? That's the term.
I did. I answered it.
John Kiriakou.
What he called it in the article, not the memorial.
Yep. So,
although if you want to call it that,
you live in DC. You know this area pretty well. You know it would be a pretty big memorial. You said. How do you feel about this being put in your city? Is there anything else they could fund in your city that you feel like would be more applicable?
Oh Jesus! Where do I begin? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Well, given this is federal, this is federal funding, so it wouldn't necessarily relate to anything that I'm doing more on the district, as in like the city level versus the federal level. But as I said, like, yeah, I mean, there's so many memorials at the national. I don't even remember half of them, but it's just like,
right.
Many of them are kind of pointless. Like the only ones, like it'd be one. I would say this: if it were a museum, well, again, they already have this in New York, but like if it were a museum, maybe I could buy that a little bit more. But, um, but, but even that I feel would be for this would be too much. Um, but I think I know the reason why W is like on the executive board of this. I forgot what school he's affiliated with here, but this is kind of like I know he kind of speaks on this issue, like the war, and like I mean, obviously, kind of his thing when he was president. So I think it just makes sense that it will kind of fit into his wheelhouse a little bit that he would be on the executive board for this.
I mean, you think with his mission being accomplished, he wouldn't have to, but
right, like, or you would think that people would naturally kind of think of this rather than this feeling like a push on his regard, which I feel in a lot of ways is just a pet project to kind of build some type of legacy for himself because he really has nothing. So that's what it kind of feels like to me.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and there's been a whitewashing of Bush for a while now. That to where this is an acceptable thing to do. They're trying to make this all a romantic, like West Wing style.
But it leads into my point. This is a way for him to like finalize his legacy in a way that is whitewashed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's not going to live much. Like I'm going to say this, he's not going to live much longer now. He needs something
to hold his legacy together. Yeah.
Right. So this is essentially a thing for him, for people to kind of think of him somewhat fun, I guess. But I don't know if it's going to have the result that people are going to have with.
Well, so let us know in the comment what you would like to see as a memorial to the global war on terror. So, but yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's our show. Yeah. Fucking another week of bullshit. So, yeah. I mean, I could just my brain is just full of versions of that fucking memorial. Like, dude, with that MLK memorial, they could do anything they want. That was just a fucking,
Well, which one I see? Well, I see in the chat. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the giant turd, the giant floating turd. That one. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking awful.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah. Like, sorry, bro, who made that, but you could have done better. But like, that photo you're pulling that one set thing from, you could have just made that, but like the actual photo.
Right.
That would have been way better.
Yeah. You were better off doing, what was the idea? Well, I think it's called the embrace. You were better off just doing an embrace of
Loretta and
and Dr. King versus
that.
So, but anyway,